You're recording.
Ready. Hi, Wolfie.
Say hi.
Oh. I think I heard him say techie savvy.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hi, buddy.
Hi,
Welcome.
Wolfgang.
Say it really loud.
Yep.
In training.
He'll be hosting the next webinar, Chris.
Birthdays.
He's hired. He's a 10 on the cuteness factor. Welcome, everybody. What a special day this is. I've had a magical day from the moment I woke up. Can you tell? And now I have 3 incredible women who have been my mentors, teachers, inspirers, and dear friends for so many years now. And many of you don't need an introduction to any one of them, but I'm going to introduce them anyways because I respect them so much. So first I wanted to introduce Rosemary Gladstar, the great connector between plants and people. And I invited her here today because she has connected us with Rocío Alarcón. And that she is literally a star in the field of herbalism, internationally known and renowned for her knowledge and stewardship of herbs and plants. She's a teacher, she's an author, she's a mentor, she's a founder of many organizations that have changed the lives of plants and people, including the International Herb Symposium, the New England Women's Herbal Conference, where I first met Rocío and Deb, who are also here, and the United Plant Savers, such an important organization doing really profound work. She's done many, many, many things that I'm not going to go into now. That's just enough. But she's filled our hearts with laughter for so many years. Yes. And I know we're going to really enjoy hearing how she and Rocío connected in Ecuador. My second guest is Deb Soul. Deb, who has embodied the spirit of the hummingbird, who lives in her garden and tends her plants at Avena Botanicals, an incredible gardener, teaching our gardening program right now, The Whole Garden, for BotanicWise. And she has a beautiful apothecary where I have purchased my medicines for so many years at Avena Botanicals. And Deb has a special connection with Rocío and the hummingbirds. And so we're going to hear a little bit about their story, about how Deb went to Ecuador to experience the hummingbirds that we don't see in North America. And then I have my special honored guest today, Dr. Rocío Alarcón, who we call Rocío. Such a beautiful soul. And she is a connector for us as well. I think of her as a connector between our souls and the spirit of nature around us. She's a reminder that there's a power in the unseen, the magic that's all around us every single moment, even in our bleakest moments. The magic is there to be tapped into, that we are all connected. We are connected through the spark of a candle, through the flight of a hummingbird, so many ways. All three of these women have changed my life in a really profound way that I'm so grateful for. And I'm sure many of you have stories that are similar of how one or more of them have moved you or taught you something that you have put in your pocket like a gem to remember forever. So that being said, welcome. Thank you, Rosemary, for joining us. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Rocío.
Wow, that was an absolutely beautiful introduction. Thank you, Karen, for inviting us to join with you in this sacred circle. Yeah, so wonderful to see Deb and Rocío.
Well, I wanted to kick things off, actually. I wanted to kick things off sort of with the origin of your relationship with Rocío and a little journey down memory lane as you ventured along a river in the rainforest with this new friend who was your guide, Rocío. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, Rocío and I can tell that story together. Actually, it was really my second journey to Ecuador with Rocío. I had heard about her long before I met her and was just really looking forward to meeting her. And on the first trip, we did meet up with her and she served as our guide for half the trip. And of course, I fell instantly in love with her and madly in love and recognized what a remarkable human being she was and asked her if we could do another trip with her. And she was really excited about it. And I'll just do a little introduction to the story and then you can fill in because you know this area so well. So Rocío planned this remarkable trip that was definitely off the beaten trail. We always like to advertise our plant lovers journeys as off the beaten trail, but Rocío would take us like where there were no trails. And in fact, where we went, there were no trails. We ended up having to take a river, go up the river, the Santiago River. And on this trip, Rocío was really interested in taking us to these remote villages that were in the Pacific rainforest. And they were villages that really were not visited often. And they were these remarkable people. They were the Afro-Ecuadorians who had escaped generations before from the slave ships, and they had never been enslaved other than on those ships. And so they had this remarkable culture within Ecuador. And she really wanted to bring our group to meet these people in these very remote villages. And so it all sounded really exciting when we were talking back and forth, planning the trip for the year ahead that it takes. But when we arrived, the first thing is we had to go through this city called Esmeralda. And of course, I'd always do a lot of pre-reading and getting ready for the trip. And every single book I read about Esmeralda said, don't go there, because it was not the safest city. And it was also a malaria-ridden area. But Rocío felt that it would be, it's the only place we could launch on to the river. And so she did take us there. And like, I already fully trusted her. So with my group, right? So we went. But the second thing was it had been raining. Really, they had had a lot of rain and the river was swollen. It was huge and running really fast. And we had 3 kind of wooden boats waiting for our group. And being Americans, everybody traveled with a lot of baggage. So we not only had like a very large group, we also had a lot of baggage. I'm going to let you take over here and you could share some of the story as we headed up that river, Rocío.
Well, Rosemary gave me a call and say, "Are you Rocío Alarcón?" And I said, "Yes." I didn't speak English. Now I tried, but at that period I didn't. And I said, "Yes, yes." I didn't know what she was saying, but I said, "Yes, yes, yes." But her voice called my spirit. Mm-hmm. And I arrived home and Mom said, "Did you talk with the lady?" And I said, "Yes." "What she wants?" And I said, "I don't know." And I said, "Mom, the only thing that I'm going to do is just to bring these people to the green, to the wild, and to meet with the people that is working in the project. We have a big project. So I was quite exciting. I went to talk with my boss and I said, boss, please, can I use the canoes and on and on? And he said, okay, do whatever you want. So, and he let me, he gave me the 3 canoes and the top drivers. Of course, with the number of people and all the baggages, took us time to put all the baggages in the canoes and on. So we arrived late and we were navigating, crossing basically this huge river that is going to the Pacific Ocean. It's the jungle that we call the Choco, high level of biodiversity and special tribes living there, including the Afro, the last Afro hunters with the special ceremonies, and the Chachi, the people who lived there 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So at that period, very white people living there, and I feel so proud. I love them, and we organize all. Took me time to organize and say, just play the marimbas when they arrive, make the sounds of the trees and the music of the trees, because the marimba is made with pieces of tree, of the palm. But we arrived late at night. When we were navigating, the stars fantastic. And did you remember, Rosemary, in the water, these shining insects?
Oh,
and
yeah.
fish?
Yeah.
We didn't know if we were in the heaven or we were into the water.
What I really remember, I do remember those absolutely, but I also remember because of the flooding, once we would be, so we start down the river, right, and we'd see all these little villages, and I'd think, oh, good, we're here, right? A couple hours go by, and then 4 hours and 5, and we'd see these little villages, and okay, we're there. This has been wonderful. But then it got really dark, right? And there was no light, and we're going down this flooded river. And then every once in a while, the headlights or the little flashlights that they had on their heads would go on, or they'd hold their little flashlight, the drivers, and there would be this enormous wood, big logs coming down the river at us, and they would turn the lights on right in time to go around them every time. That was another time I knew there was magic afoot here. And I learned later, of course, that these people have been navigating that river forever. So any change in the sound, they just knew. You know, we'd see the little children that in those days that we stayed in the village, they'd go out in the little rafts all by themselves, you know, but it was remarkable. And then just as you said, like after several hours of going down that river, we came to the village and they had been waiting for us a long time, but they were all there. And they came down to the river singing with their instruments, and you know, they had those beautiful instruments they made from the forest, and they were singing and waiting for us.
This rattle has the age of that period.
Yeah, yeah. Rattle it. Let's hear it. That's it.
They were doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was around 30 years ago. I was trying to remember the year. It was in the early 1990s. But it was at that, you know, watching you and just watching, you were in the head boat in the first boat, and then Cascade and I were in the second boat. And every single time we'd see one of these log jams going by, Cascade and I would look at each other. Of course, the whole time we're thinking of these people that we brought, but neither of us were ever afraid. I think I sensed, like everybody senses when they meet you, this tremendous power and your connection, you know, with humans, certainly, and with the plants, but also with the spirit world. I knew we were being guided. I also really had no doubt that we were in for an amazing experience. And truly it was. We stayed in that village for several days. Yes. And then, you know, we just brought right into their homes and fed by these people, and they shared their ceremonies with us. It was really a humbling experience for us. And then we went downriver to the next village. Yes. But yeah, yes. that was the beginning of a very long and cherished friendship for us. And really, I think one of the things for me was the opportunity to introduce you to so many of my friends. You know, it's been beautiful to see the weave, that web that weaves us all together, just grow and grow, and really to watch your work blossom forth and touch so many people in this world. It's really just an honor.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. For me, it's like when Rosemary and the group arrived to these areas, to the fantastic place in River. When Rosemary invited me to the international in Wheaton College, I was terrified. Oh my God, to go to the plane. For me, the canoe was normal in the river, in the logs, but in the plane, and after trying to cross the street there, I was so scared. And of course, Rosemary give me accept that when I was to offer the bathing for the women, and usually women just naked. Did you remember in the villages, the women, they were with the breast naked, and for us normal. When I was there and I said, okay, ladies, we need to remove the clothes, and everybody got so anxious. And I said, why you are so anxious? I don't understand. And we forgot something, and I went naked running to cross the street in that place, and one of the ladies with a sheet saying, Rocío, you are not able to do this. And I said, what, the bathing? I understand. For me, it was like two cultures coming and trying to understand. And a guy driving a car, and I crossed and I said, excuse me, sir, I'm going to bring some packets. What is happening here? So for me, it was like a two different cultures, but always Rosemary giving me the courage and the confidence to create and to share what I was learning with my granny and with the local communities.
Well,
Part of my culture.
It just enriched the world so much. I do want all of you who are listening to realize that when Rocío was doing the naked bathing, it was at Wheaton College. and the first time she came to the Women's Herbal Conference, there was some young men staff, they were chefs. And she was just mentioning the story. The young boy was on his bicycle on the way to go to the kitchen to cook, and he goes by and there's a classroom full of naked women, and he literally fell off his bike. That's what she was just talking about. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun to reminisce with you, Rocío, and yeah.
We visited the most incredible remote places with the trees.
Yes, we did, yeah.
We were in contact with the spirits of the waterfalls.
Yes.
People was listening, the voice, with these ears, the voice of the goddess of the jungle. And I remember one of the trips when we went to the south and we crossed that incredible waterfall.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing. Everybody felt that we went from one port to another.
We did. Yes, we did. I think it is true what Rocío was saying is very important in the very early parts of our trip is I didn't realize how little English she really knew. And so, I would be telling her kind of what our group would need and, a little bit about the agenda and stuff. And she would always be saying, yes, see, And then when we get there, it was an entirely different trip. It was always perfect. It took me a few years to realize that she was just saying yes to the world, right? Yes, of course. And I'm really glad that you did say yes to the world, Rocío. Like when I would ask you to come and teach all those years at the International and at Sage Mountain, at the woman, you would just say yes. That was, I think, it has had a profound effect on so many of us, that huge yes you said to your work and, to the spirits of channeling that for all of us. And I'm forever grateful, for you and for your work and how that work has just continued to deepen for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. You, as I'm saying always, Rosemary is the bridge between the people, the plants, and the planet. That big bridge that you can cross without any doubt, without any problem. Because that was when I met Rosemary. I feel that we met ages ago, 1,000 years ago, and her voice always guiding me and saying, Rocío, yes, all is okay, yes, Rosemary. And I understood, I learned when her eyes just guiding me into the, because I was young and little crazy at that period, going into the woodlands and calling the wind and calling the spirits like Granny was doing. I thought that is normal for everybody until when I went my first trip to United States, first time going in a plane. Oh my God, I was shivering. I said, if this machine is going to fall over, my God, this is so scary. Yes.
Yeah, it's easier to ride on the wings of the hummingbird for sure.
Let's talk about hummingbirds a little bit.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you so much.
Do you want me to say a few things, Rocío? Yeah.
Yes. Please.
Well, I'm appreciating hearing you share the river story because I was in one of those canoes, and I'm loving just remembering those images. And I just wanted to share with the first time I met Rocío was almost 30 years ago. Was at the International, and I remember sitting next to each other on the bus, and I because I don't speak Spanish, and I'm sorry about that. I just knew I was in the presence of somebody very special, and I wanted so much to be able to communicate with Rocío, and I'm a little bit shy and timid. So we made our way, and I am so deeply grateful for all these years of being so deeply inspired and learning so much and continuing to learn so much from you, Rocío. So it's really beautiful in this moment to give gratitude to Rosemary and the spirits who brought you two together and then allowed all of us to be able to continue to be connected with you, Rocío. And I am very, very grateful for the hummingbird connection. And I wanted just to share a few things. I started to observe the ruby-throated hummingbird, which is the only hummingbird out of, as Rocío said, there's close to 350 different species. And we have one species that comes all the way to New England and up into the Maritimes, and it's the ruby-throated hummingbird. So I began watching this hummingbird in the late 1980s. And there was one summer where the whole month of August, I slept outside in my garden every night because I wanted to know what time do hummingbirds wake up in the morning? What time do they come into the garden? That was my beautiful spiritual scientist question. And I kept a little clock with me, and I was sleeping next to a bed of evening primrose. And they love the evening primrose flowers because they're fragrant in the evening. And they're one of the first flowers that's fragrant at dawn. And that's where they would come every morning. And it was about 5:15 in the morning. They were very precise at their arrival. It was amazing. And so I have been all these years just watching them very, very deeply and listening to them and taking such incredible joy when they arrive. For us, and I think in Vermont and in Maine, it's usually in May when the males come first and the females come, and then they create their nests. And then at some point in July, there's this ruckus of life when the babies fledge, and the garden becomes just this playground for all these hummingbirds. And it's amazing to be watching. So I have just watched for over 30 years, which flowers do they go to, and just everything I can learn from observing them. So when Rocío began to so generously share her teachings from her grandmother about the hummingbirds, I feel for the rest of my life, I will be really just listening and learning and being with Rocío as she is so generous with sharing something that is just remarkable about hummingbirds. And though we only have one species here, they teach us so much about the interconnectedness of North America and Central America and South America. They are this incredible link. And Rocío speaks so beautifully about the link between the physical and the spiritual. And I think the ruby-throat, and there's somewhere between 18 species of hummingbirds that are in North America, mostly more on the West Coast, up to Alaska. We on the East Coast, east of the Mississippi, there's only the ruby-throat that breeds. It doesn't matter. They hold such an incredible energy, which is what Rocío really teaches us. So I am so grateful that I was on that first canoe trip you wrote because I wanted so much to be able to listen to whatever Rocío was teaching. And I say that from my heart. And I think so many of us know that it's important that whenever Rocío teaches, that we listen deeply and we open our hearts to receive the beauty of her teachings. And so in 2017, Rocío led her first trip to Ecuador studying hummingbirds. And so I was there with her, and it was remarkable for me, who had only ever met one species, to begin to see the diversity. And that's why I think the rainforest and Rocío's work is just so incredible, because it informs and has an incredible impact on the whole planet. Mm-hmm. The biodiversity in Ecuador of plants, of hummingbirds, of all the different species. All of us, no matter whether we will ever get to go to the rainforest, it's so important that we recognize and value your work, Rocío, because it's for all of us. It's for the planet, this work that you do in Ecuador. So to be able to see like just all the different species. And then again, you know, I was able to come back with you in 2020. And again, just, it's remarkable to be able to be present with and to see and observe and just listen to these amazing hummingbirds. So it's really your work with hummingbirds, with biodiversity, with all the life work that you had dedicated yourself to. I feel so grateful for everything that you continue to bring forth here. So much love and gratitude. Yeah.
So
Thank you so
beautiful.
much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I forgot you were on that
Rocío.
first step. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Could you share a little bit about the healing power of the hummingbird?
Yes, during the pandemic, well, after some health condition in my life, and the hummingbird saved my life, I promised the hummingbirds to write something about them. And of course, I saw this woman, the woman of the hummingbirds, and thank you to the support of one of my friends, Luisa Santiago, we create a team, and she was doing the drawings under the direction of how I saw this woman. And after I decided to write the characteristic, the spiritual and physical characteristics of these hummingbirds. And each card bring the shape of the plants, the drawing of the plants that the hummingbirds love, and the hummingbird, each species of the hummingbirds from different countries. We have 37 different cards. We call the oracle of the cards, but really it's the message that hummingbirds can send to you day by day. That's one characteristic, but the other is that this oracle was finished during the pandemic drama. And it was funny because I was in Ecuador in a flat, living in a flat there. And I say, how am I going to do this? And the Madonna of the hummingbird say, you shut up, just follow my indications. I say, okay, because she's very bossy. So she say, go to this part, and she showed me specific the place where I found that's funny, the only place opened, and it was a place where they can print and they can do designs, and it was empty, only for me. So I arrived there, and the guy said, are you using the mask? Yes. And he said, what do you want? And I say, excuse me, I don't have idea about the designs, but I have these drawings and I have this text. Can you help me to do this? And he said, how do you want? So at the end of the day, we engaged, and we were very good friends, and we were doing ceremony into this shop, ceremony with the hummingbirds, because it's close to the park and the botanical garden. So we were doing ceremonies and calling the hummingbirds. And the owner of the printer area say, hang on a minute, you know, since you arrived to this shop, I feel something different in my life. You are changing my life. And I said, me, no, I didn't. And he said, yeah, it's light, and now I have more business, even if it's pandemic, all is closed. But my my shop has incredible business calling me people since you arrived here. I said, okay. They were doing all, and I sit like the owner. He showed me how to make the designs, and I was with one of the guys, said, do this, change this, and I don't like this color. It was madness. And at the end, we finished and said, okay, I want all the oracles, 1,000 oracles in boxes, to bring to the botanical garden. They say, for what? All these guys bringing, because no traffic, nothing, all was empty. So we brought to the botanical garden. It was one of my friends, the boss of the botanical garden, and she said, come on, Rocío, go in, don't worry. And we were doing ceremony. So these 1,000 oracles, they are charged with the energy of the hummingbirds, all the hummingbirds. I have a video how all the hummingbirds are arriving and singing into the oracles. And we were doing ceremony and calling the wind and the cards there. So that is how some people already send me messages about the miracles that these cards are doing with the people.
Yeah.
Just to mention one of my friends in Portugal, she has a beautiful center and she bought the oracles. For some reason, the oracles come back to me twice. I don't know why. I put the address Portugal and come back to me. So I say, Daisy, I think that the hummingbirds wants to arrive when they want it. And she doesn't believe me. She saw that I'm doing a joke and say, seriously. So she was doing a mortgage, something. The oracle arrived and she picked the first card, and the first card was business going very well. And she said, I can't believe it. I have that big hummingbird in my hands, and I received the call of the bank saying all is okay after months with problems. Things like that. And of course, after my mom this condition 1 month ago, I was doing healing ceremony with my mom in the heart with the long pea hummingbird that you can see in my back there.
Yeah.
And the healing process began. She's perfectly well. Hummingbirds are the miracle. And in honor of my granny, in honor of this Madonna of the hummingbirds, that's why I decided to write the Oracle of the Hummingbirds. And this is magic. It's magic. It's not mine. It's from the other dimension. I was just only doing the material part, and many other people supported. Thank you for that. Thank you to the divine forces, to my grannies. And
Beautiful.
to,
Thank you, Rocío.
yes, and the Madonna.
Oh,
Rocío is a founder of a beautiful center in Ecuador called IAMOE. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit about the impact, the importance of that preservation within the Amazon rainforest.
Yes, thank you very much. And I need to mention again Rosemary, because the first time that we went to that area was with Rosemary Gladstar. We went to the Amazonian, and Cascade was there.
yes.
And as always, we have adventures. We don't prepare anything, and some people receive injuries and other people. And so it was a long queue waiting to receive the treatments, and Rosemary and Cascade and other sisters supporting this group of people and save lives. So after I was working in this area for many years, and a group of friends, we put pocket money really to buy that land. And finally, my family decided to save the land, because my friends, they wanted to save all and they didn't want to go to the field. So I was in crisis, and I decided to put money and to buy part of the piece of land, which now I feel so grateful, because IAMOE Center is the center that has 100 hectares, but it's a center of biodiversity in the planet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's the center. It's not because I wanted, but we were doing a research, and the number only of trees, it's amazing. It's the top comparing with other plots in the planet. That is one. So IAMOE Center has a high level of biodiversity, different species together there in that physical. The cultures around us, our sisters and brothers there, different tribes. So we create a garden of healing medicine. And many of the people from the tribes arrive bringing different plants. So we are so lucky. We have like I will say maybe 6 different varieties of master plants called ayahuasca, because sometimes we try to globalize all the things, but it's not like that. So we have different varieties. And when people go there, they are learning and touching and engage with the plants.
Yes.
These first steps that can make us to understand the value of these plants. So IAMOE Center has this variety of master plants that the local tribes, they are doing for us. They are collecting there. At the same time, we have different orchids. March is the month of the orchids, where all the orchids flowering. Where they come from? We rescue orchids from the areas where people cut the forest. So friends from England and volunteers, they went there and they were collecting from these areas and bringing to IAMOE Center. And we now have the most fantastic orchid garden that in this March was flowering a lot. I was planning to be there, but I didn't go. But the orchids waiting. Come on, we are waiting. And I said, sorry, wait for me for the next period. So it's the center of biodiversity, but it's the center, what I call to my country, is the center of shamanic activities, the center of curanderos.
Yes.
Curanderos, we call curanderos, no shaman. The art and science of the curanderos, because we are learning from different tribes. We are learning from different cultures, and we try to save that ancestral knowledge that has the link with the wisdom of the humans 1,000 years ago in nature. If we lost the nature, we lost the curanderos.
Yeah.
That is the sadness. And the role of IAMOE is to save humans and plants and animals and biodiversity, because we together can create wonders.
Yes.
That is the meaning of IAMOE.
Yes, so beautiful.
Patricia is wondering more specifically where IAMOE is located within Ecuador. She
Yes.
says, what state, please?
Yes, IAMOE is located, really is in the middle Amazonian. We arrived from Quito to the Coca city. Now it's a city, before was, my God. And now it's a big city. So from Quito to Coca by plane, 35 minutes. And after, we can take a bus from Coca going to IAMOE, and will take 1 hour, depending. If you are going by bus, 2 hours. There are buses that pass through IAMOE Center. So big changes. 30 years ago, Rosemary and all of us sleeping in the jungle. Now buses going there, crossing to IAMOE Center. So if you are going by plane and taking the bus, will take, let's say, 4 hours. And going by bus will take, depending on the transportation, the bus will take 8 hours. And after going to IAMOE will be 10 hours by cars. Private cars will take 6 hours, 7 hours, depending on the transportation that people is using. But IAMOE Center has cabins, have the top quality of water. We protect the water. Water is the most powerful element into the Amazonian. And of course, we have top quality of water. People who visit us never has problems with water. We have filters, and we create this link between the protection of the forest and the protection of the water. We have our own wheel of water, and have the cabins and have trails. As I'm saying, 100 hectares that we protect as much as we can. And we offer workshops. I'm happy this year with all the dramas that we were living, and I need to cancel some of the activities, and I hope that in October, I don't know, if not in October, next year in February, the period that offering workshops again and sharing the knowledge of the forest. And the local people, especially the women, receive many support because they deserve it. They deserve it. I think that all this group of wisdom people can open the wisdom of the trees like opening a book.
Yeah.
In each leaf of the tree is the memory of the healers who touched the trees 1,000 years ago. And that is the miracle. That is the coevolution, the spiritual coevolution, when the curanderos touch the trees and transforming the leaves of the trees in books for us, in wisdom for us. So for me, IAMOE is that magic point where the transformation is immediately very fast. All is going very fast. Where the jaguar found a place to be free, and where the trees, always when I'm far away from my trees, I say, guys, you are protected. Nobody's going to cut you. Hummingbirds, you can fly. Be free. IAMOE is your home. It's not mine. It's not of the humans. It's your place. It's your home. And where big spirits can contact us, can call us and teach us how to heal people, how to heal the planet.
Yeah.
So since the pandemic, you have not been able to bring people to the center. And so part of the purpose of our time together today is to build awareness of a fundraising event that we're going to host, which is a healing workshop on Saturday, led by Rocío, on a new sharing of an ancient healing called Manteo. And can you take a few minutes and teach us a little bit about what Manteo is and what the workshop will hold for us on Saturday?
Thank you very much, Caris. And yes, I'm using one of my granny always used this like that when she was working. So if she has a baby, she can put the baby here, or if she has collecting seeds, she can put the seeds here. And I remember to grow when I was a little baby, or 3 years, she put me here. And she put the seeds inside, so I was playing with the seeds. So, but sometimes she was using the manta, because we call manta, and this is one of the mantas that belongs to my granny, and she gave me as a legacy. It's very old, not anymore this type of tissue, of cloth, is different, yes? It's a natural ink, and she was using this to heal the hips of the women, and to heal whatever parts of the body using the music and dancing with the body of the person. So during the Manteo that I'm going to offer, which is completely new, and I was preparing to offer here in UK, but for some personal reason, I wasn't able to offer here. So for Caris and the group in the Saturday will be the first. So let me show you just a little. Excuse me, please, I'm going to. So we are going to do some music, and we are going to learn how to make movements in different parts of the body to remove forces that we don't need with us. Forces in the back, forces in the front, especially in some areas like the breast that needs to be moved, because we have main entrance, as you know. The nipples are the big ports, and sometimes we charge with no good vibrations, not because we don't know, simple. It's the vibration of sometimes different situations in the planet. So I think that for the next period, we are going to have some situations, especially with the violence that we are suffering in the planet. And it's so important to use the Manteo. Manteo coming from the word Manta. We call Manta to this piece of cloth. So Manteo means the verb, that means the action that we are doing to remove forces in the body. So I'm going to offer this. Each person needs a piece of very firm piece of cloth and the size of your hip and the size of your breast. So make it easy to manage, and we will learn some techniques to keep clean that areas of the body, which is very important. I don't know if I explained some about that, but we will use the Manteo in some private areas at the same time to make some movements. Yes, so be open to work in real, very intimate relationship with your Manta in different parts of the body. Closing some areas and moving some areas that needs to be reinforce the muscles and to come back the body to the same shape than before some situations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Facebook is probably freaking out after we are streaming on Facebook, but that's good. Shake them up a little.
At least he's not doing the chocolate breast massage.
Yes. The workshop itself will not be on Facebook. And it, like I said, it's a fundraising event. We're hoping to have 100 participants who would be willing to donate $125, which would be enough for to add to the $3,000 that we've already raised for IAMOE to keep them in good shape for a year. But if you have no money to contribute, but need this healing, we want you to join. This is a donate what you can event, and you'll see it should be easy for you to see how to do that when you click the link that Abby shared in the chat. We will also email you details following this webinar with the replay in case you want to watch some of the great conversation at the beginning of the webinar and details about the workshop that are coming up. I wonder if there's any questions or anything anybody wants to add. People are looking for the link to the hummingbird cards, so we will research that and we will send that as well in the replay email. I believe, Rocío, that cards are available in the United States
I think
at this time.
I think that finished because Deb Sol was in charge of them, but we are going, if it's okay with you, Deb, we are going to send more cards. If I'm going to United States, which I don't know if how will be in probably in August, I'm going to Deb Sol Center. I will bring some of the cards to United States, please.
Yeah. Somebody just asked, we're hoping that Rocío will be able to come and do a hummingbird retreat at Avena in August. So we're just going to be keeping attuned to what's happening. And yes, we can receive more hummingbird cards, Rocío, to help them. They're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
Dawn is asking if the workshop is a naked workshop. And no, we're not going to be naked on Zoom.
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
You will use your clothes. But if you want to do in your own, yes, of course. Some people just move from the screen and following the indications. If you want to do in your own, it's perfect. And some parts of the body, yes, of course. But learning now, I understand. But I will show the techniques. I will share some techniques. Of course, it's not the entire amount of techniques, but as much we can share some important to clean the breast, to clean the hip, and to clean, I don't know, these other areas in between our body. Is so important. The inguinal area, I don't know.
And Gail is asking, yeah, Gail is asking if you can't attend the workshop, where can you donate? There's two ways to donate. One is you can just simply register for the workshop and not attend. That's fine. There will not be a replay of the workshop. It is live only. but you can donate that way, or you could donate directly through IAMOE.org. And Abby can put that link in the chat as well for you. So you can make a donation right now through there. I believe they have a PayPal link. Hillary is asking, she says, sorry if this was said, what does IAMOE stand for? What does it mean?
IAMOE means the Arpija eagle. Arpija eagle, the eagle of the South America, this enormous eagle with the blue eyes.
Eagle.
IAMOE is in the Guarani. The Guarani are the last hunters and trekking. So we put that name, IAMOE. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful eagle.
And Cindy's asking again, when you hope to open IAMOE to visitors. In
Yes.
October is your next plan.
Yes, we are planning in October to open the
Yeah,
center.
you can email us if you're interested in getting,
Yes.
you can email us directly at BotanicWise, info@botanicwise.com, and we will connect you with Rocío. Yvette says, will there be sexual stagnation release techniques demonstrated?
Yes, could be. Yes, why not?
Yes.
One of the conditions that Manteo, I was offering here hipping, what we call hipping or closing the bonds. Many people wanted to know about sexual abuse or sexual conditions, problems. Yes, Manteo is one of the techniques that can help a lot to release situations like that. Yes, to release, to remove forces. In the spiritual side, the Manteo bring the people to the trance, to move and to remove without any drama, let's say, without any problem, but because the rhythm of the music, the rhythm that you are putting, so the person is releasing what they don't need with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if that release
Manteo
doesn't happen, what builds up?
Pardon me?
If that release doesn't happen over time, over many years, does it build up? Does it build stagnation in the hip area?
Usually we believe in my culture, well, in the school of my granny, I can say now, in the school of granny, she said that the problem with this type of abuse is that it's like, let's say, whatever abuse the person is writing in the gun, is writing in those areas, cruelty. And the point is how to remove and how to clean. It is so important to remove that, and Manteo can help a lot. Manteo is fantastic. I was treating here some really girls, my God, so easy to remove with the Manta, because the person feels so protected.
Beautiful. So healing.
Yes. It's time to
removing
use
cruelty from the body, says Hillary. What a
Yes.
profound idea.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that is mandatory for the people. Well, for me, it's mandatory what I was learning with my granny, time to share, because we have so much pain in the planet. And our role is to support, if we can, to support and to allow the people to feel healthy, to feel happy, to release situations that quite innocent creatures, quite innocent.
Yeah.
I remember I decided
Martha
to
says,
go-
for the
Yes.
Healing with Hummingbirds workshop, if I try to sign up, it only allows me to be placed on the waiting list. Is the workshop full or waiting for dates to be confirmed?
I think that waiting for the dates to be confirmed, and we try to organize and to do the things according to the situations of the country, because with the drama of the pandemic drama, which now is not a problem, as you know, everybody now forgot about the drama, but in the country is very safe now. But we need to know about the local flights and cancellations and all these type of things. So it's better to understand how it's going to work, that dynamic of transportation and movements into the forest, because don't forget that we are neighbors of the local tribes and we don't want to produce dramas into the communities.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Maru says, is there any way to get the Hummingbird Oracle in Canada? And then we have Gabby asking about Mexico.
Yes. I think that could be the possibility. I remember that they sent to Canada one of the oracles. I remember was one of the oracles that they.
Yeah, I think that we can mail one to Canada, and I definitely can mail one to Gabby. So if Gabby can just give me her mailing address, yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So we've come to the end of our time together. I want to thank each one of you, Rosemary and Deb, for sharing your beautiful stories and beautiful spirits. Rocío, for your ongoing work to heal the planet and to share with us. I'm really looking forward to hosting you on Saturday for this beautiful workshop. And I thank you for being here today, all of you taking time, if you're in the East Coast in the middle of the day, but wherever you are in your day, I'm always grateful to be part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Karis, for inviting us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Caris. Thank you, Rosemary, Deb.
Oh.
Thank you, sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
Oh.